One claim that people have brought up, right, to dispute the resurrection of Jesus Christ is, if he truly died and he was truly buried and he truly resurrected and he showed himself to 500 or more people, why didn't he show himself to everyone? Why didn't he show himself to the likes of Herod, to the likes of Pilate, to the likes of the Sadducees or the Pharisees? The book of Matthew chapter 12, Jesus was addressing the Sadducees and the Pharisees, and he said, "This wicked generation seeks a sign, but no other sign will be given than the sign of Jonah." What was the sign of Jonah? Jesus was referencing his death, his burial, and his resurrection. That was to be the sign. Now you can also ask, but why did he not appear to every other person? Because Jesus doesn't call you into force to believe. Christianity or the gospel is not coercing you into belief. It's not coercing you into blind belief. The gospel is telling you that here's the truth. The truth is a person. His name is Jesus, and this is what he has done. If we should talk about signs, if we should talk about evidence, Jesus' life here on earth, before he stepped into the scene, and even after he resurrected, there were evidences up till now that he is Lord and he is the Son of God, and that he is who he claims to be. He is the only way, the only truth, and the life. Let's give, for example, let's talk about casting out demons. Now, in those times, before Jesus stepped into the scene and was conceived of the Holy Spirit, history tells us that they would use different means to try to cast out demons. One way was by performing surgeries, and it was called trephination. Trephination is where they use a nail or an instrument to drill a hole into the person's skull, a person who is demon possessed, with hope that the demon might live through that hole. They also tried several different means, but when Jesus stepped into the scene, he casted out demons by just saying the word. Demons would scream just at his presence. Let's talk about the healings. Let's talk about the feeding of the 5,000, the 4,000. Let's talk about what history has said of someone who would come generations before, how he would come and how he would be treated. Let's talk about raising Lazarus from the dead. When Lazarus was raised from the dead, you have to understand that it was not a small family meeting that just had little eyewitnesses. No, Lazarus was dead for 4 days. When Jesus stepped into the scene, he said, "Lazarus, come forth." The time is very important. The time which this event happened. You know why? Because the time when Lazarus was raised from the dead, by Jesus' words, it was the time of the Passover. Meaning that in Jerusalem, if there were like 10,000 people living at Jerusalem, during that time, during that week, there were like 250,000. And Lazarus was raised in a city that was just how many kilometers away from Jerusalem? The news spread so much so that the Bible told us that the Jews sought to kill Lazarus. Let's talk about the missing tomb. The Roman soldiers knew what they saw, so they would have reported to the Roman authorities. The Romans obviously knew that the disciples did not steal the body. It was something that was fabricated. There were signs. There was evidence. But even with these evidences, even with these signs, they chose not to believe. What makes you think that if Jesus had appeared to the Jewish leaders at the time, they would have not passed it away as a hallucination, just like we do today?